because it's not just a journey of the hair, it's the journey of the mind, it's the journey of the soul, and it's the journey of being certain with your decisions, making decisions and sticking to them.
No, it don't rain much, ooh, but when it rains, it pours. A psyche stay from stay.
Hi, welcome to Maiwa's World. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Maiwa. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, but I currently live here in Berlin, Germany. On my channel, I talk about freeform locks, natural hair, feminism, body empowerment, female empowerment, just things that I feel like are taboo topics that I would love to bring to the mainstream. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and click the thumbs up, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and I will get into the topic. Some updates on my life first. Last week, I had my It's a Comedy Show Volume 9. It's my 9th show that I've done. And it was like super beautiful because we sold out legal capacity in 19 minutes. It was wild. And for all the people who couldn't get in, I'm really sorry. I'm hopefully gonna get a bigger space so that we can have more than 200 people, which is just wild to think about, but I'm like still filled with so much love. But then after my show, I got really sick because you know when you have something so like intense, and then I think when you have that intensity, you're supposed to kind of slow down. My ass was like, let's keep it going. So I just like kept working, and I was working out a lot, and the weather was all over the place. So I got like a really bad cold, and then it was kind of like a moment for me to realize I need to calm the fuck down. So that was why I didn't upload a video last week, but this week we're back on the ball. We're trying to crank out these videos twice a week. So what else? Oh my God, so my hair, just like a quick update. This is the first time that my hair like can go in a bun and like be wrapped. Like it's crazy. Like I'm like, wow, my hair's growing, you know? I feel like you forget sometimes, and you see these little benchmarks of things. Oh God, it's okay. You see little benchmarks of things and you're like, oh my God, like super cool. So yeah, I have it in a bun, and then I have the rest like here in this back. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is sometimes I get comments from people and they're telling me about what their parents think about their freeform locks. And I want to make a video specifically about dealing with your parents' opinions of your hair, because it's really difficult. And I feel like if you're someone who actually values the input of your parents, it's very difficult. It's very hard. I'll first explain my relationship to my family about my hair, and then I will give advice from there. When I first started freeforming, I didn't know I was freeforming, right? Like I didn't set out to freeform. I just told myself that I was gonna stop touching my hair after I read Bell Hooks' book All About Love, and I realized that I cared so much about how I looked and how I presented that I told myself while I was reading this book, I'm like, I am not gonna keep spending money on my hair, keep manipulating my hair, like I'm not gonna do anything. So for the first 2 months, I didn't even know that was called freeforming. I was like, what am I, I don't know, I was like really, it was very experimental for me, and then you find the word and you're like, oh, it's a thing, like it's not just a me thing, you know? So for the first 2 months, I didn't know I was freeforming, so I wasn't really telling anyone I was freeforming because I didn't know what I was doing. When I figured out that I was freeforming, I saw that it was like a whole movement of things. I was super excited, and it was a baby to me. Like the concept was a baby to me. My hair was in the baby stages. This like new mentality of like stopping manipulating your hair was also like a baby concept. And one thing I've learned in my life is that whenever you have a baby, whether it be like an idea, an artistic project, a collaboration you want to do, I've learned that you have to be more protective with baby concepts than anything else, because if that concept that is so new gets discouraged, it hurts way more because you don't have anything else to compare it to. So I remember being like, all right, I want to do this freeform lock thing, and I'm so insecure about it that if I heard negative input, I don't know why I keep saying input, I wouldn't do it anymore. So I told myself, like, don't tell anyone until you're at a position, or don't tell anyone who could potentially give you negative feedback until you're at a position where you're more confident about what you're doing. So I told my sister, because my sister and I are very close, and my boyfriend at the time, and my friends, some of my close, I told only people who are gonna be like, yes. I told all my yes friends, which I try to be honest, I try to hang out with yes friends who like, they are encouraging of the things that I want to do that I'm too insecure to do, you know, because I feel like you want to do it, but you just need to have people around you who believe in you, and that just makes the biggest difference. So in the beginning, I think I didn't tell my mom I was freeforming maybe until 5 months in, actually. And then I showed her a picture because I was living in Europe. I showed her a picture and she was like, oh, it looks cool. Like she was supportive about it. And it wasn't until she had seen how my hair had grown to that she started to kind of feel, you know what I'm saying? Not so encouraging, because I really believe that there's a generational difference with everything that goes on, right? Like I'm sure she went through a generational difference with what she wanted to do and what people expected from her. And I have the same thing. And I just believe that there are some things that just change with time. And so I think a lot of older generations of people believe that unkept hair without doing anything to it is nappy, and nappy hair means unemployable. So her concern was not with me having locks, because she was like, if you got manicured locks and it looked neat, I would be totally cool with it. She's just like, I'm just worried that because it looks unneat, you're not going to be hireable. Like no one will hire you because of your hair like this. And I also had that insecurity, but after 6 months, I decided like, yo, if you do not fuck with me because you think my hair is unprofessional, like you're racist and I don't want to work for you. You know what I mean? I had told myself that, like, I was like, that to me, saying you don't want to hire me because my hair is nappy is literally like telling me you don't want to hire me because I'm black. And I'm not about to be doing hoops and juggles and shit just to get you to hire me when I'm clearly overqualified for a lot of positions, you know? So I had already convinced myself of that mentality. I remember when she saw my hair, and you know, I don't know if you guys know, but when you get starter locks or when your hair starts to lock, they get these like white, I'm trying to think. They get these like, at the roots, they get this like white covering. I don't know why, but it's like in the very beginning, it gets this like white part in the roots. And I think it's just the lock solidifying, but it's just like, I don't know, like a new concept or whatever. And I remember her being like, yo, your hair is dirty. Like you need to wash that white stuff out. And I was like, no, I don't. Like that's literally just my hair. And she's like, no, it's like, you're not washing it right. You gotta like wash it. And then she wanted me to like deep condition it and like try to massage. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing any of that. I was really strong on it and I was very respectful to her. And I was just kind of like, hey, like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that, you know? And I think that it comes down to like understanding where they're coming from, understanding that there was a generation where they were not able to be hired if their hair wasn't even straight, you know? Like that is a thing, but that definitely was a thing. You know, there was no natural hair movement when my mom was like, you know what I mean? In the 80s, there was no like, oh yeah, wear your natural hair. You know, there was no discussions about these things. So I understand like where she's coming from. And also like I've heard from other Nigerians that there's this belief that when people have freeform locks, or as they call it dada in like Yoruba and other Nigerian cultures, they view having freeform locks as meaning that you are so mentally unstable that you don't have anyone to take care of your hair. And so having freeform locks is actually associated with being like mentally unstable. And so you're juggling through these different ideas that not only people thinking you're unkept, you're nappy, you don't care about things, you smoke weed, but also like now it's like you might be mentally unstable. Cultural differences, like I realized that, but I think the biggest thing Freeform Locs has taught me is like, you can't make everybody happy. You cannot be liked by everyone. You cannot be for everybody. And I feel like even though I say that, we say that in society, that to really do that belief is super difficult. It's really hard. So yeah, it's difficult, but I feel like every time you put yourself together and you look at yourself and you see where you are versus where society is, you gotta say like, I can't be for everybody. Like it's just not gonna be possible. I respected her opinions on things and her concerns, but then I also firmly said, nah, like I'm not changing this. This is like who I am. And I believe that there are some things that are not up for discussion, and like talking about my hair is not something that is up for discussion. Having a conversation with my Nigerian mother was honestly like watching two bulls. Just like, I feel like sometimes that's how we are, because we're both very strong in our opinions and we're both very assertive / aggressive. So I've learned how to kind of communicate where I stand strongly and firmly. And I think the positive side, you gotta always look at the positive side. The positive side about having parents who don't believe in either your aesthetics or what you're doing is that you have to become so certain with the things that you believe in, and you really have to make decisions. You can't be indecisive. Like, you can't have hair like this and then have a parent that doesn't approve and be indecisive. You've got to get to a point where you are very decisive with your decisions. You got to guard those things for your dear life. Like I said, whenever you have a baby thought, a baby idea, a baby concept, guard that with everything you have to make sure that nothing can taint the way that you view about it. And then, like, let's say if you're younger and you are living with your parents, you just got to get to a position where you're strong enough in your decision to not let anyone sway what you do. In the day, I had these like realizations where it's like, I'm not murdering anybody. Like, I'm not stealing from people. I'm not doing fucking credit card fraud. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just doing something to my hair. And when I really like weigh up, I'm like, there's like real problems in the world, like real concerns right now. And then there's the things that I'm doing. And I'm like, why are we pressed about what a young black girl wants to do to her hair who's from Atlanta, and we're not pressed about the fact that we're having a government shutdown? You know what I mean? I am not the problem in this system. Like, this system was built to not really see or acknowledge people like me. So why am I getting all this pressure from the outside telling me to not exist the way my body wants to exist? I'm like, nah, I have no time. I have no time for this. I think when you understand how these systems work, then you become more confident to be like, nah, this system wasn't designed for me, so I have to create my own systems. You just got to do that. And that toughness is what makes you beautiful. It's what makes your journey even better, because it's not just a journey of the hair, it's the journey of the mind, it's the journey of the soul, and it's the journey of being certain with your decisions, making decisions and sticking to them. You know, it's not about doing freeform locks, taking them out, doing it again, taking them out, going back and forth. It's like, yo, I made this decision, I'm gonna stick with this decision, and we'll see how I grow into these decisions. You know, I think so much people are uncertain, like, if they're making the right or wrong decision. And I always believe, like, just make a choice and you will make it the right decision. I've always believed that. Like, I'm like, I don't believe there are right or wrongs. You will make it right. You will always make it right. Do what you want to do, and then you'll make it right. You know, and so it was very difficult though. So my mom was not so, she was like, man, I would rather you have manicured locks. But now that she's seen that I am employable, I have a job, not just any job, I have a job that's like a governmental job, an official job or whatever. And I'm also doing social media and I'm doing all these things. And she's seeing that. She now has come around. And she's just really supportive. She like watches all of my videos. She's gonna watch this video for sure. Hey mom. And she's really supportive. And I think a lot of times it just takes time before people can see what you have seen. Like I had that vision from the jump, but it may take her a little bit of time before she can see what I believe in myself. And that's understandable. It takes everyone time. Everyone's process of when they learn things comes at different periods, right? And even for myself, like learning to be forgiving of the fact that she may not have seen what I saw from the jump, but now that she's seen it after 2 years or a year, she's here for it, you know? So I think that when you really make a decision that you're certain about and you do this hairstyle, in the beginning, I think you're gonna get a lot of shit, but then I feel like when you're happy, everyone's happy. And like, that's really how I try to live my life. Like, I really do what makes me happy because I know my joy is contagious, right? Like, happiness is something that everyone is interested in. And if you're a happy person, everyone around you will somehow be impacted by that joy. So I knew if I could live a life that was authentic to myself, that was honest, that was joyful, my mom will then come around. You know, I've always believed that. So like, I feel like me having my hair like that maybe made my mom confront issues that she's had with her hair and that she's had with how she views hair, and it will change her, and then she will change her friends and her friends will change. You know what I mean? Like, every time you take me to a function where I'm around like older Nigerian women who may be conservative and they see my hair, they may have a certain impression of me. But when they see me happy as fuck, when they see me succeeding, they're gonna say, oh, I can be like that. It's not too late for me to change. And the same thing with younger girls, younger black girls who see me and say, oh, I could be like that. It's like everything, the way that you are in this world impacts your whole community. And it's so important to always realize that. And it's also important to realize that change takes time. And just like you have to be patient with yourself and your hair, you got to be patient with the people around you who may not be approving of that. Because best believe, in time, they will approve of it because they have no other option. And if they don't approve of it, at least you made them think. Which is the most powerful thing you can do to someone who may not be able to see your point of view, is that you're still challenging it. Like every time you exist in this body, with this hair, with this mentality, you are still challenging society. And that should always be rewarded. You should say to yourself, like, thank you, self. You're like pushing things that are very difficult even for you, and you might have fear and you might be scared, but you do it anyway. And that's what matters the most. So this video might be very long, depending on how I edit it, it might be very long, but my quick answer to people who feel like their parents are not encouraging of the hairstyle that they have is just keep going and do you. And ultimately, you were not born to make your family, your parents happy. You were born as an individual. And I advise making yourself happy, which will then in return make your family happy. So focus on your self-care, on your own love for how you feel, and feel good in yourself, and that shit will be contagious. So thank you for watching. Have a good day. Choose.
Stay from memories of past and before.